Hi there, it's Sam from Pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today, and thank you very much for joining me on another one of my Advent Countdown projects. We're getting close to the end, there's only a few more to go. But this is one of my fold flat boxes, but I've actually made the measurements so that it fits the decorative label punch and the curly label punch, and so they are quite deliberate sizes, but actually the finished size is 2 by 2 by 2.5 inches, which is 5 by 5 by 6 centimetres. So it's a good size. I mean, you can see it in the palm of my hand. It's not small by any stretch of the imagination. And I came up with the design of this because I've seen lots and lots of cards and boxes and gift card holders that are all modelled to look like Father Christmas's suit, so with the red and then the buckle and belt and what have you. And that's where my original thinking was going, and then I changed it because that's what I like. And so this is a fold flat box, but again with the red and white, but just, you know, a different take on it. So I'm going to show you how to make it, and I am doing it in black because I think black is, it's an elegant colour. I'm going to say that anyway. So let me pop all that back together. And you need a piece of cardstock that in Imperial it measures 7.5 by 8.25, so that's the full width of an A4 sheet of card here in the UK, and anybody else who uses the paper in the A measurements. But to do a metric version of it, in order to not be sort of working at 0.3 of a centimetre, your cardstock, you would want it to be 21 by 21 centimetres, so a little bit longer, but actually it's not going to make enough of a difference. And in actual fact, this is a metric version, so when I've finished building the Imperial version, I'll show you that there's so little in it, it actually is not a big deal to worry about. So with your 8.25 inch side at the top, you want to score it very simple at 2, 4, 6 and 8 inches, and for the metrics you would score it at 5, 10, 15 and 20 centimetres, and then turn it round so you've got the 7.5 inch side at the top, and you score it at 1/2 inch, 2.5, 5 inches and 7 inches. And again for metrics you would score it at, I've lost my notes, 1.5 centimetres, 6.5, 14.5, 19.5. Okay, let me move the scoring tool out of the way because we don't need that anymore. So I'm not going to cut it now because I've cut one in advance, but you know, let's just assume we folded all of our score lines, and you need to remove bits. So I've got my white gel pen because obviously this is black and you wouldn't see it. And if you keep your little skinny side over on the left hand side, remove both the ones above it and both the ones below it, so you just have one little bit, and then you take off that section there and that section there. Okay, so you're left with the little bits here, and you would trim that down to there, and you would cut that down to there, cut that one down and that one down. And then over on this side we do the same but slightly more, so this one and this one. So basically you're taking 3 off on each side on the outer corners. So 1, 2, 3 sections there, 1, 2, 3 sections there, and what you're left with is that. So you can see, so look, there you go, this is the actually, sorry, this is the metric version, so very slight difference in size, but not enough to worry about. So you're left with those bits. Move that out of the way. You come along with your corner rounder. It's really quite important to round the corners of all of the sections where they're going to fold in on themselves. And I do like our corner rounder. It does a great corner, a great curve. And it helps with the, as I said, it helps with it closing. So that's those bits, and that's where it's going to fold over like that, and that's the flap that goes in. So do these ones on the opposite side as well. And this one here. There we go. So that's all of those. Now, as you can see, this is the decorative label punch. So you take your wisp of white cardstock that was just out of reach for a second there, and you, whoops, I've just knocked something over that I'm going to be hopefully showing in another video. You take your decorative label punch and you punch it out four times for the 4 sides, and you punch out 2 with the curly label punch. But I'm only going to do 1 of each because I'm terribly organised today. Real red ink and a sponge, and it is very slightly glittery. Do not try and ink up your glimmer paper by going like that with your ink. It doesn't work, it doesn't like it. Your ink pad will forever after be glittery. I maybe ought to replace it. But it's not transferring the glitter, I will say that. So just sponge the edges of all of them. So that's all of those done. And then I want a little stamp on the top. Now this one here I used I Love Santa from my very favourite Very Merry tag set, but I'm going to use the Very Merry this time. And I'm going to have stamp one out in the matching real red, the 7/8 of an inch scallop circle. So just hold that round. And I'm going to have a 1 inch circle as well. I've got a completely new camera set up at the moment. This is, I upgraded all of my equipment, and I've got legs in all around me in all the wrong places that I'm not used to. So I'm trying to negotiate my way around them. It was meant to make my life easier. I'm not sure if it has yet. This is only my 4th video with them. Right, sponge the edges of those. And then on this one I used the star punch from the Merry Minis punch pack, but I'm going to this time use the little Christmas tree one. I'm going to use silver glimmer paper. Not that I tried to colour it green at all. I tried to colour it green, but I decided not to because it was going to take too long. So you want 3 of those for each of the side panels, and then you want 2 for the bottom, but I'm not going to do those. Around here somewhere I have some, here we go, little mini glue dots, and you just start layering them off slightly. There we go. And I'm really getting stuck with this tripod. This was my treat to myself. Like I have professional equipment anyway, but I wanted to upgrade it. I completely there they are. Yes, it was my treat to myself to upgrade all of my equipment to even higher spec. So I'm very pleased with everything. But like I say, I'm not used to the setup that I've got. It's thrown me completely. Right, so I've just mounted all of those onto dimensionals and into the middle there, and obviously as you can see I've only done one, but I'm very organised today, and I've already done the others, so which I now can't pick up. There we go. So that's my 4 decorative label and therefore my 2 petite curly label. So I'm going to attach those with snail, so 1 on the top, and then on the bottom as well. And if I open this up, you will see, it actually doesn't really matter with the stars, but you want to have the trees facing in the right direction basically. So if I turn that round, and it's just positioned, as you can see it's the perfect border. Hopefully you can see, or let me just look. Tilt that. There we go, you can see it's the perfect border all the way around. And the last one on. And then a tiny weeny bit of sticky strip. only need one piece of adhesive to close it, and that's on this little bit that's sticking out here. If I can find the end, there it is. And peel that up. Fold it all over, close it up, and then that should, the box should then close up nicely. And that is the metric version of the same box. So not a massive amount of difference. There's certainly no difference in the width of it. There is, oh, I don't know, maybe half an inch, not even that difference, but oh look, my trees are upside down. Let's try and get them the right way up. Not a massive amount of difference, but it was easier to make them like this, that you weren't working into, you know, 0.2 of a centimetre. Anyway, I hope you like it. Thank you very much. Please give me feedback if you think this camera setup's not working particularly well. In theory, you're meant to be able to hear me better as well. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Bye.